Hello and welcome back. I love you guys for being here, helping me celebrate my 40th with my 40 for 40. And I'm celebrating it by going through some of my favorite films of all time. I did last year. I did my redoing the Oscars, and since this movie came out in 2002, this last year had its anniversary. So I ended up redoing the 2002 Oscars, and this one showed up. So this should not come as a huge surprise that I'm doing Minority Report. I'm a big fan of this film. I really enjoy it. I haven't seen it as much as some of the other films that I've had on this thing, like Mean Girls or Jurassic Park or some of those other ones where I just feel like it's a little bit longer. Maybe that's why it's almost 2.5 hours. But it has audio description. It's on Paramount Plus, and obviously this came from such a strong year for Steven Spielberg. This is the year he directed both Minority Report and Catch Me If You Can. So it was it was his year of flexing. He was just like, yeah, guys, I'm a badass. Steven Spielberg. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, he flexed his way through two of the best and biggest films of the year. This is Tom Cruise. This is the second Tom Cruise film that I've had in 40 for 40. So I already picked Edge of Tomorrow. There we go. I don't think this is not going to be the only Spielberg movie that I have on my list either. There's a film that I plan on. I really wanted to put on here, but unfortunately when it dropped on Netflix, it did not have audio description. And I'm trying to stick to films that have audio description. Trying to see how the experience is from something that I saw many years ago to now. And well, if you don't know what Minority Report is, you obviously missed the shitty attempt at a television version of this that Fox tried to do. It was not good. And the fact that they thought that those were the actors that could replace Tom Cruise, there's a reason why he is where he is. He can couch jump all he wants because he has a certain amount of charisma that carry him through whatever he's doing, whatever his performance is, it just carries him. So he plays John Anderton because obviously there was The Matrix, so they had to change one of the vowels. I've never met anybody named Anderton in my life, but we had to. He obviously can't play Mr. Anderson. So yeah, we had to, obviously Spielberg had to make a little change there in the script and be like, almost swap that S for a T and see what happens. And I remember this movie came out, and you could actually, there was a way for you to go online to like Minority Report's website, and there was like a pre-crime. They made like a fake pre-crime website, and you could take the test to become a pre-crime officer, and I totally did it. So I'm for the last 21 years, I've been silently serving as a official pre-crime officer, just in silence. Just I didn't want it. It was on a need to know basis. I almost had my pension, so I get to retire soon from pre-crime. And it's a good film. It just is. It's funny because when you watch it again and again, and you kind of pull things out, and you're like, yep, okay, I remember that, and that happens. Oh, that happens because of this, and this is foreshadowing for this later on down the road. It kind of becomes less of a interesting mystery to put together. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen Minority Report, because I want you to see Minority Report. So I'm not going to like give everything away, but having seen it now, I'm going to guess this is my 5th time. Having seen it that many times, looking back on it, I was kind of like, yep, because of that. Okay, so we're doing that because later on it's for that. It comes back around here, and then we put, you see, like, it's kind of less interesting the more times you watch it. But it has a certain appeal to me. there's something about the concept. I know it's based on a novel, but there's something about the concept that really just stands out to me. And there's something about Tom Cruise's performance. I mean, he's really into it. The first sort of arrest where they sort of go into pre-crime and how they function before Cruise ends up being the one that has to run from his own unit it's really engaging. It's an engaging sequence as they have only a certain amount of time. And they explain, because it's a crime of passion, and the precogs only give them just so much time on those. So they're like rushing to piece together these little bits of information to try to stop this crime. And it's really convincing. This is also Steve Harris is in this. Like, mad props. I don't know what happened to him. He was great. But this is also, this is early 2000s, and he was still in that area where he was hot coming out of The Practice. And everybody was like, ooh, yeah, he was great in The Practice. Let's keep casting him. It's 2023. I don't even think people know who Steve Harris is anymore. I don't even know. What was the last thing he did? I have no idea. Is he on a show? Maybe. Somewhere. I have no idea what happened to him, but I would love a Practice revival. That reminded me of the whole thing. But yeah, he's in this. There's a couple people in this. On IMDb, I looked it up, and there are some people in some small roles. There's like Frank Grillo. He's just some like random agent. It's funny to see people like that when you're, because obviously now that I'm blind, I wouldn't even facially recognize, and when you're just some background character, there's some dialogue to be able to pick up your voice. So there's no way I would have known Frank Grillo was in this. But then I look at IMDb and I see his name there. I'm like, oh, you're in this. Cool. This is way before you were allowed to do anything awesome. But it's mainly just known as a Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell film. And Colin Farrell is really the thing that makes the film work, because he's mysterious enough, and he just kind of comes into this and you're like, is he good or is he bad? Is he being truthful? Is he being honest? Is that where the rug's going to get pulled out from underneath us? We don't know. Because at a certain point in the film, you kind of start wondering, you kind of start realizing, okay, I think this is the bad guy. And even before it's fully revealed, just based on casting. That's the problem with when you only have a couple of A-listers in a film, it kind of reduces the amount of possibilities. And there's a point in the film where Tom Cruise starts asking questions, and it becomes pretty easy for you to put it together, and you're like, okay, well, this is that. But the thing that you don't know, because Colin Farrell's performance is so good, right up until the moment that he has to reveal, am I good or am I bad, is which side is he on? Is he on Tom Cruise's side? Does he see that there might be a bigger picture here, that there might be more to the story? Or does he assume Tom Cruise is guilty because the precogs say so? We also have Samantha Morton, who is a phenomenal actress in kind of a thankless role as a precog, although she does get to, violently shake and pretend like and kind of mumble and have sort of these weird, I don't know, moments in the film. But it's not the same Samantha Morton performance. Again, she's a Walking Dead alumni, and she's fantastic on that show. So if you didn't see her as Alpha, please do, because, oh my god. Anyway, yes, so it's great to have, to see that performance again. But it's a fun film. I like it. I enjoy it. The audio description for me doesn't quite capture the wonder of the sci-fi technology and necessarily what Spielberg was going for. It tries. It really does. But there's some of it that it doesn't wow you as much, because you're casually sort of told the most basic description of something. And this whole film was very futuristic. and a lot went into it, and a lot of time was poured into it, and there are a lot of things that don't exist in our reality, and they're having a hard time describing it. Plus, it's what we thought the future might be from a 2002 standpoint. So it's not even like the kind of stuff we're putting in movies nowadays, where our future, where we've seen the kind of technology we've achieved in the last 21 years since Minority Report. And now we're able to sort of have a different vision of what's possible out there in the future. This is sort of 2002's version of the future. And yes, it has flying cars. So, yeah. And some other things too. And as a blind person, I was oddly bothered this time around by the eye surgery sequence. I was like triggered. I was like, man, I would not be doing that. You don't know. Don't play around with that. Just find a different way. Wear sunglasses. Something. I don't know. Peter Stormare was way too shady in that sequence for me to have felt comfortable with that. In general, I think it does a really good job of describing a lot of the scenes. It's just sort of, does it immerse you in the future? I don't know. I don't think so. Not nearly as much as being able to see the film would. But then again, I've seen it. And I don't know if I'd never seen it before, if this audio description would just pass the general muster for me. It's right on the line for me. I don't think it's bad audio description. I just think that there's a little bit more magic in there than perhaps the audio description was able to capture in some of the futuristic technology that they created for this world. It doesn't feel quite too far in the future, I guess, is what I'm saying. Anyway, I love Minority Report. I think it's great. I redid the Oscars, gave it a Best Picture nomination. And that should have been an indicator for where I was headed with Minority Report. But it also has an excellent score, by the way. It has a great score. It'll never be recognized for being Steven Spielberg's best, but hopefully it'll always be remembered for being one of his better films. I did feel incredibly validated in choosing this film when I saw that it had an 80 on Metacritic, which is really solid. Really a solid grade for a film. So, anyway, that's it. That's my Minority Report. I'm going to give my Minority Report for this is an A+. It's one of my favorite films of all time. It's one of the films that stands out to me from 2002. I've seen it a couple times. Own it on DVD somewhere in my DVD collection. I don't know where. Somewhere over there. And it has audio description on Paramount Plus. So there's really no reason for you to not dive into this and check it out. Anyway, I will be back with another 40 for 40. I think this is 11 of 40. So I've got a ways to go. Please subscribe. I also have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the Audio Description Project, adp.acb.org, to let you know what is audio description, where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. And it'll let you know, where you can, who's describing these films. Paramount Plus wants me to watch the next thing immediately, so I never make it to the narrator, but that's that. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will review something else and see you guys on the other side.